Hello everyone, I'm going to jump in here. This is Tiffany with Fabric Creations by Tiffany, and thank you for watching the video so far. I've shown how to trim the quilt, cut the binding strips, sew them together. Now I'm applying them to the sides of the edges of the quilt for binding. So I wanted to show you how we sew this on, and when you get to the corner here, how to stop and pivot and turn. Now I'm using 2 1/4 inch binding strips folded in half, using my 1/4 inch foot on the machine. This quilt has polyester batting, so it's a little thicker on the edges than usual. But this is what I had to demonstrate with today. So anyway, when you get close to the edge where you can manage it with your left hand, note 1/4 inch in on both edges and place a pin there. And then I always like to turn it to the bottom to look and see if it's approximately the right place on the bottom too. So then you know where you're going to stop sewing. Sew all the way up to the pin, and then I always back stitch a couple stitches here. Lift the needle and the presser foot, and then I leave my thread attached at this point and pivot the quilt around. It may take you a minute to get everything adjusted in place. Pull your thread as far as you need to be able to hold it correctly. Take the pin out. Now take your binding and make sure it's taut. Flip it up where it's even with this side of the quilt, straight up and down, holding your thumb there on the fold of the binding. Then you're going to flip it over like this. Now get everything adjusted, and you want the fold of the binding to be even with the top of the quilt. You want the sides of the binding to be even with this side of the quilt. Take your pin and just put it in there. I do it on a diagonal so that it holds everything at once. You could do it this way, but I like it on the diagonal. It just seems to hold everything in place. Now, in theory, you should be sewing straight down here. I like to start a little bit further down. Let me grab another pin and I'll point to it. I like to start sewing about right here and back up and then go forward, because it just anchors your corner in place where you don't have a lot of bubbles and things like that, hopefully. So here we go. I put it all under the presser foot. Then I'm gonna put my needle down about right there. I'm gonna back up. See how it kind of anchored that heavy section? Now I'm gonna go forward over that stitching, and it's a lot easier to sew through the whole thing. Okay, now I'm just gonna continue on with the process around the whole quilt. In my previous video, I showed you how to join the edges of the binding together when you get all the way around the quilt top. So if you haven't seen that one, go back and take a look, because it's really a handy tip to help you. So I'm going to stop here and continue with this binding. In another video, I will show you how to flip the binding over like this and sew it down to the back so that you can hide your stitches in the ditch. And look here, when you get this corner done, I can go ahead and show you this now because it's all done. You want to clip this seam, or clip, not the seam, but clip the excess at an angle there where when you turn that corner, it's nice and smooth. Now see when you flip this, and you're gonna come along here later and sew this down, you will have a nice mitered corner there. Okay, I hope this helps you, and thanks for watching.